Okay, so for the first one, so it's just asking us to determine how many solutions. So we're going to say one solution, many solutions, or no solution, okay? So for this one, do I have an x equals or a y equals? Y equals, we're going to take the x plus 3 and put it in where? So right there. So we're going to have 3x minus 3 parentheses x plus 3 equals negative 1. All right, then what? Distribute, so that's the negative 3. So what's negative 3 times x? Negative 3x, negative 3 times 3. Negative 9. All right, and then combine like terms. What's 3x minus 3x? 0. So I'm left with just negative 9 equals negative 1. No variables left. So what's that going to mean? Yep, no solution. You don't need to copy it. You can keep them.
What?
You can just pay attention. You don't need to copy them.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't need them. I throw them away anyway. What? I just throw them away anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, next one. Do I have an x equals or a y equals? Neither, right? So we can get an x equals or a y equals before we start. Honestly, if you don't have an x equals or a y equals, it's not worth the trouble. We're going to learn a method today that you would use in that case, but if you needed to or wanted to, you could. So what's going to be the easiest variable to get by itself? Yeah, this x, right? So minus 4y. So we get x equals negative 4y plus 22, and then that can go in for x now. So we'll have negative 3 times negative 4y plus 22 minus 6y equals negative 18. And then distribute that. What's negative 3 times negative 4y? 12y, and then negative 3 times times 22? Positive or negative, yeah. Negative 66. Combine like terms, 12y minus 6y. And we can actually stop here because it's not asking us for the solutions, it's asking us how many solutions, right? So did our variable cancel out? No. So if we continue, are we going to get an answer for y? Yes. So what's this going to be? One solution, yeah. So one solution means like you're going to get a point for your answer. You're going to get an xy coordinate. Okay, and then on the last one, do I have an x equals or a y equals? Y equals. So put that in for the y. Negative 4x minus 2, negative 2x minus 22 equals 44. And then distribute. So we have negative 4x. What's negative 2 times negative 2x? Positive 4x. Negative 2 times negative 22? Positive 44. And then negative 4x plus 4x? 0. So I have 44 equals 44, which is true. So what's that going to be? Yep. All right. Good?
So wherever like your variable is, so like on like the middle problem, it's like x plus, you would start, that's your variable, so you would start with x.
Right here?
Yeah.
When
you
you
solve for x.
Yeah, but honestly, if it's not already y equals or x equals, we're not doing this method. We're going to do the one we're going to learn today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it becomes more trouble than it's worth when there's
Okay.
going to be a new one. Right. Okay, so this is your third and final method of solving these, and it's called elimination. Your objective is students will be able to solve systems by multiplying and adding to eliminate a variable. So the whole kind of idea when we're trying to solve these is we have x and y in both of our equations, which makes it impossible. So we're trying to make it to where we only have x or y that we can solve for. Okay, so just like with substitution, when we substitute, we end up with all the same variable and can solve. Kind of hang on to that idea today, okay? So you are going to use this method basically when your equations are both in the same form. Typically, like almost always, what that's going to look like is they're both going to be in standard form. So it's just everything needs to be lined up to do this because we're adding them together. So for example here, see how like the x's are lined up, the y's, the equal signs, and then the answers. So it goes like x, y, equal sign, answer. As long as your equations are both in the same form, so if they're both in y equals mx plus b, technically you could do this too. We just don't really see that a whole lot. But they have to be in the same form, okay? So like this one would not be an example because what method would I use for this one? Yep, so it's x equals, so we would use yesterday's substitution, right? So it just kind of depends, bless you. You just kind of use the method that's easiest for how the problem's given to you, okay? So the way that you do elimination is you're basically going to add your equations together, which we're allowed to do, to create a new equation. And in the process of that, we're trying to make it to where one of the variables goes to 0 so that we only have the one variable left that we can solve for. We're also going to use the whole rule of what you do to one side of the equation, you have to what? Do the other. So as long as I do something to both sides of the equation, to the whole thing, I'm allowed to do whatever I want, basically is the idea, okay? So kind of keep that in mind too. So we're going to start with one that's already like done and set up so that you can just see how to add them together once you have it all ready to go. So you have this system, and we're going to add these two equations together, straight down. What is 2x plus 6x? 8x. And then positive 5y and negative 5y? 0, yeah, because y is 1y. Yeah. And then equals, and then 17 and negative 9? 8. So one of my variables is gone, which means I can solve for the one that I have. So what? Just divide by 8. So what does x equal?
1.
Mm-hmm.
So you just cancel out the 5?
Yep, because positive 5 and negative 5 makes 0.
Okay.
Hmm?
So you go from left to right?
It doesn't really matter. You just go straight down. So you just add all the same pieces together.
Okay, so when you get 5 and 5, adding that, it's not 10.
No, because it's a positive 5 and a negative 5. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, and then from here, once you have this first answer, it's going to be the same thing as yesterday. So pick one of the two equations. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Does the top one or bottom one look easier? Top one? Okay, so we'll do that one. 2x plus 5y equals 17. Put in the x. So that's 2 plus 5y equals 17. So how would I keep solving that? Yep, minus 2. 5y equals 15. So what does y equal? 3. Yep. And then for your final answer, you're going to write it as a coordinate pair. So it's going to be 1, 3. Kind of make sense? Okay. Go ahead and try the got it. Mm-hmm.
How would the two cancel out?
What do you mean?
How would
This?
yeah,
Because we're subtracting 2 minus 2 is 0.
but where's the other two?
Over here with 17.
Oh.
And then then it turns to 15.
For you said you
Mhm.
did this one, would you cancel both the 3s out?
Does it make 0? But yeah. Yeah, so don't think about it as like choosing what to cancel out. Think about it as just adding them together, and if it makes 0, then it just naturally cancels out.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to start just for the sake of time because I don't want us to run out. So if I add these equations together, what's negative 3x and positive 3x? 0. And then negative 3y and negative 4y. Negative 7y. 9 and 5? 14. And then divide. So you get y equals what? Negative 2.
Yeah, I didn't know you added them. I subtract.
So you only subtract if it's a negative.
Oh, but isn't the negative 3 negative?
Well, it's negative 3 and negative 4, so since they're both negative, it makes like a bigger negative. Huh?
But it would be negative. So negative 3 minus.
So it's not minus, there's just negative 3 and negative 4 being combined. Like, so negative 3 plus negative 4.
Oh, how did? But you always for when it's like on the last problem it was like 5 and negative 5. We added those, right?
5 plus negative 5, yeah.
So you always add.
Yeah.
On that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then if it's a negative, then it's like subtraction, kind of. Yeah. All right, and then do you guys want to do the top one or the bottom one?
Positive 7 1?
Negative. Negative 3, negative 4 make negative 7. Which one? Top one? Bottom one? Bottom? Okay. 3x minus 4y equals 5. 3x minus 4 times negative 2 equals 5. What's negative 4 times negative 2? 8. And then minus 8. So you have 3x equals negative 3. So what does x equal? Negative 1. So your point should be negative 1, negative 2. Good? Okay, so do we expect that every single problem that we have is magically going to have these perfect like numbers that cancel each other out when I add them together? No. Okay, so what we do, we use that rule where what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So as long as you do the same thing to both sides of an equation, you can do whatever you want. So what we typically do is we just multiply the whole equation by whatever we need to make that happen with the canceling, okay? So on this one, what almost cancels? The 6's, but if I just add them together how they are right now, they're not going to cancel, they're going to make 12y, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I still have x, I still have y, and I've gotten nowhere because I can't solve for anything. So what could I multiply one of my equations by to make a negative 6 happen? Yep, a negative 1, right? So if I multiply one of these by a negative 1, it's going to become a negative 6, which will cancel. Does that make sense? Okay, so you guys pick. Do you want to multiply the top one or the bottom one? I heard more bottom. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the bottom one by a negative 1. So that's going to make negative 3x. And that's going to become a negative 6y. And that's going to become a negative 48. And the top one just stays the same. So now if I add those together, will something cancel out?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's add those together now. So it's negative 5x and negative 3x. Yep, negative 8x. 6 minus 6 is 0. 32 minus 48. Negative 16. Yep, divided by negative 8. So what does x equal? 2. And then when you go back to plug this in, you're allowed to use either of the original equations or you're allowed to use your new equation if you want. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as it's an equation. The bottom one for the original looks easiest to me, so I'm gonna do that one. 3x plus 6y equals 48. Plug in the 2. So 6 plus 6y equals 48. Minus 6. So what does y equal? 7. Yep. So for your answer, you'll get 2, 7. Any questions? Okay, go ahead and start the next one. You might not have time to finish because we might have to start it, but at least see if you can get it set up. All right, so let's start this one. So, which variable would be the easiest to cancel out? The x's, yep. So what could I multiply by to make them cancel? A -1. Do you guys have a preference which one you multiply? The bottom one? Sure, let's do the bottom. So bottom one by -1. Okay, so top's going to stay the same. 2x plus 3y equals 130. And now that's going to be a -2x. And then a -5y equals a -190. All right, so it's 2x minus 2x. 0. 3y minus 5y. We have 2y. 130 minus 190. We have 60. Yep, so what does y equal? 30. Yep. And I'm going to do the top original equation. 2x plus 3y equals 130. 2x plus 3 times 30 equals 130. So that's 2x plus 90 equals 130 minus the 90. So you have 2x equals 40. So what does x equal? 20. Yep. So we have 20, comma 30 for that solution. Any questions? Cool. Okay. So to take it one step further, we are not required to just only multiply by a negative. We can multiply by literally anything we want, as long as we do it to the whole equation. We can even multiply both equations by different things to make it work, okay? So on this one, I have, for the x's, I have a -2 and a 7. For the y's, I have a +15 and a -5. Which variable is going to be the easiest to get those numbers to be the same thing? The y, right? Because what could I multiply the 5 by to make it cancel? A 3, yeah. So if I do 2 and 7, which you're allowed to do, what could 2 and 7 both turn into? 14, but then I'm going to have to multiply them both by something, right? So it's just easier to multiply just this one. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 3. And I'm going to do a +3 because we already have opposite signs, so those are good to go, okay? So 3 times the 7x is going to be 21x. 3 times the -5 is going to be our -15y. And 3 times 17 is 51. Great. Negative 2x plus 21x is what? Yep, 19x. Positive 15y, negative 15y. 0 equals negative 32 and positive 51. 19. So what does x equal? 1. Then from here, same thing as always. I'm going to use the bottom original one. So 7x minus 5y equals 17. 7 times 1 minus 5y equals 17. Okay, minus 7. Negative 5y equals 10. So what does y equal? Negative 2. So for your answer there, we get 1 comma negative 2.
That, what did you do 3 times 7 though? Then you have to multiply it.
I did. So I got 21. Just because I saw that that was a positive 15, so if I multiply by 3, I can make that into a negative 15 to cancel it.
The next one, could you multiply 3 because 2 times 3 is 6? Would you do the 3 to the top or the bottom?
Well, if I do 3 to the bottom, then I'm going to have a negative 2 and an 18.
So that's 2 to the top.
Yeah, to make it a 6 and a negative 6, yeah.
Multiply the top.
You can multiply whatever you want. You can multiply both if you want. All right, we're just going to do it, guys, just because I don't want to run out of time. So what did you guys decide to do? Multiply the top by 3. So that's going to be negative 15x and then negative 6y and then 18. And then we have 3x plus 6y equals 6. Okay, so what is negative 15x and 3x? Negative 12x. Those cancel, equals 24. So what does x equal? Negative 2. Okay, I'm going to use the bottom original. 3x plus 6y equals 6. 3 times negative 2 plus 6y equals 6. There's a lot of 6's. Okay, so add 6 over. 6y equals 12. So what's y equal? 2. Yep. So negative 2, comma 2. Good? Cool. All right, next one. So for this one, for the x's, I have a 3 and a 4. For the y's, I have a 2 and a 3. Either way, I'm going to have to multiply both equations by something because there's no way to turn one of them into the other, okay? So what number could I turn both 3 and 4 into? 12. What about 2 and 3? 6. So, I mean, it's your pick. What do you guys want to do? 12 or 6? 6? Cool. Okay, so if I want those to be a 6, then what am I going to have to multiply the top one by? 3, and then the bottom one by what? Yes, so it's your choice where you want to put the negative. Because we need a positive 6 and a negative 6, otherwise they're not going to cancel. So do we want to do the 3 being negative or the 2 being negative? Cool, all right. More so 3. So we'll do that one. So there's lots of variations. Like not everyone's going to do this exact same, okay? So if I do that, so negative 3 times 0 is going to be a negative 9x. And then a negative 6y. And then a negative 3. Then on the bottom, that's going to be an 8x, positive 6y, and then a negative 4. All right, well, it's negative 9x and positive 8x. Negative 1x. Those cancel, equals negative 7. So what does x equal? 7, yeah. I'm going to use the top original, 3x plus 2y equals 1. All right, minus 21. 2y equals negative 20. So what does y equal? Negative 10, yep. So we have 7 comma negative 10. Sense? Okay. We're just going to keep going together. So look at that one and kind of make a plan. So a little tip, if you already have opposite signs for one of them, that's usually going to be the easiest because then you don't have to worry about doing a negative or anything like that. You already know that there's a positive and a negative. So which variable is going to be the easiest to do on this one? The y's, yeah, because you already have a positive and a negative. We just got to get the numbers right. So what am I going to multiply the top one by? 2. And the bottom one by what? 3, yeah. Okay, so that's going to be 8x. And then a positive 6y, bless you. And then that's going to be a negative 38. And then this one's going to be a 9x, a negative 6y, and then a negative 30. All right, 8x and 9x is 17x. Those cancel, equals negative 68. So you get x equals negative 4. I'm going to do the top original one. 4x plus 3y equals negative 19. Plug the x in. So that's negative 16 plus 3y equals negative 19. Add 16. So 3y equals negative 3. So y equals what? Negative 1. Yep, so you're going to have negative 4, negative 1. Good? Yeah. You have to get the same answer. Yeah, because these two lines, this should be where the two lines cross each other if you graph them. Yeah. All right, next one. What do we want to multiply by? On the bottom, what do we want to multiply that one by? Just 2 or negative 2? Yeah, negative 2. So we're going to do 2x plus 6y equals 18. And then negative 2x minus 6y equals negative 18. Okay, what's 2x minus 2x? 0. What's 6y minus 6y? 0 on that side left. 18 minus 18? 0. Do I have a variable left to solve for?
No.
Is that true or false?
True.
0 equals 0?
True.
True. So what's my answer? Yep, infinitely many solutions. Good. And what's our plan for the last one? Multiply by -1. Do we care? Top or bottom? Top, sure. So we're going to get positive 2x minus 5y equals -7. Okay, what's 2x minus 2x? 0. Negative 5y plus 5y? So we have 0 equals -7 plus 12? 5. So our variables disappeared. Is that true or false? False, so what's my answer? No solution.
It doesn't matter if you multiply the bottom one.
Doesn't matter. Nope. Yep. All right. Whew.